If you have a question on the natural world, you should look for passages in the Bible which refer to this. Once you find one, they must be literally true as scientific facts. You can read these biblical passages as if they were science statements in 21st century science textbooks.
In this video, you can see both land and water. What is the relationship between the two? Does the land contain the water? In other words, does the ocean have a bottom made of solid land? Or is the ocean boundless and the land is floating on the water? Many people in the ancient world wondered which was the correct answer. Some went to passages in the Bible in an attempt to answer this question, and found passages referring to waters under the earth, and found passages which suggested that the waters preceded the earth and came first. Not only did those canonical biblical passages suggest this, but there were apocryphal works as well, accepted by some to be canon, which suggested that there were waters under the earth. Philo argued that at God's bidding, the waters fell into pores of the whole earth, which made dry land appear, but that this then was the source of the fountains of the abyss, which opened for the Noachian flood. Clement of Rome, one of the first Christian writers of the first century, felt that a boundless sea surrounded the earth, and that divine power marked the barrier of this water. John Chrysostom thought the waters under the earth were of great significance, and felt that it was contrary to nature, that the earth was supported by water, and that this was only accomplished by the power of God who restrained it. And so thus the presence of these waters and the land floating over them was a sign of divine power. Augustine argued that God had established the earth above the waves of this world, but that through his power they should not hurt the land. Basil argued that earth rides the waters, and that this was sustained by the Creator's power. Martin Luther argued that there were still waters both above and below the earth, and that, quote, at any moment we are not deluged by water, both from above and below, we owe to the divine majesty, which so wonderfully directs and preserves the creatures, and for this reason also deserves our praise. Calvin felt that the gathering of waters under the earth so that they would not overflow the earth reflected the goodness of God. He states, "Let us therefore know that we are dwelling on dry ground, because God by his command has removed the waters that they should not overflow the whole earth." In the 19th century, a number of flat earth believers also held that there were literal waters under the earth, and it was divine power which restrained the extent of these waters. The earth does not float on water. Land masses do not rise over unfathomable expanses of water, which are only restrained by constant divine intercession. Many who asked questions about the relationship between water and land used literal translations of biblical passages. They used the Bible as if it were a literal science book, and they came to the wrong answer on this question.